of your training. We are going to be speaking about infection control, which I'm sure is on everybody's lips at the moment. You want to make sure you're staying safe and you're making sure that your clients are protected in the best way possible, because that's exactly what infection control is. It affects you and it also protects you and your clients. So we always wear gloves whenever you're doing anything in relation to personal care. So whenever you're taking someone to the toilet or you're washing them, you would always have your PPE equipment on. Due to new government guidelines, we suggest and ask you to make sure you're always wearing your gloves and you're always wearing an apron. Yeah, they look like this. They are supplied here for you. You would be coming to get them very soon. And they open up just like this. Little tip, don't put your gloves on first. Always put your apron on first, just because trying to open an apron up and wear gloves is very difficult, as you can probably see now. So, and this just ties around you like so. When you leave a client, you must make sure that you're taking off all your PPE equipment and they go into a bag like this. Okay, so again, all of this will be provided in the client's home. So you have a bag that looks like this and you take everything off, whether that's at the end of the visit, and you would also be encouraged in between tasks, you would also be taking your gloves off. So as you go into a client's house, now we suggest that you put your gloves on. Usually on normal circumstances, we would say to you, wait until you've had your pleasant conversations, you've explained who you are and why you're there, then put your gloves on, because it can seem a little bit intimidating to have gloves on as soon as you go in. But due to new ramped up measures and infection control, we are encouraging you to put them on as soon as you get into the house, okay? So gloves on when you go into the house. Once you've done any sort of personal care, you take them off. You do not leave the room that you're doing the personal care with gloves on, because I'm sure you can appreciate you have dirty hands. You don't then touch a handrail. Someone who lives in that house then goes and touches that handrail and you've had something not so nice on your hands. So just bear that in mind, okay? Whenever you're preparing meals, you'll take your gloves off, and if you feel that you need to, you can put a pair of gloves on if you wish. Of course, wash your hands as much as you want, as much as you can. Of course, that's the best way to prevent any sort of infection. And if you can get your hands on some hand sanitizer, that's perfect as well, okay? When you're taking your gloves off, don't strip them off, because any infection that is on your hands will then be dispersed all over the floor and potentially over your clothing too, okay? So our advice to you would be, have your one hand, you put it into the glove and you turn it inside out. You catch it with the other hand and you turn this one over the top, yeah? That way all the infection is in this glove and you pop it into your bag, okay? With the apron, it depends on how dirty your gloves are. You would either have your gloves on and you take it off, then put that in, or you would get a fresh pair of gloves on and then take this off, okay? And then you wrap it up, okay? And then you pop it into the bag. But always have gloves on when you do that, okay? Because you, again, always you're having your nice clean hands onto a dirty apron and you're pulling that off, okay? So either use your gloves to pull it off or put a fresh pair of gloves on to take it off, whichever seems correct for you, okay? This bag then gets deposited into the outside bin, okay? Don't leave it inside the house, because you're also going to have potentially soiled pads. This is what a pad looks like. This is what urine would be collected on if someone does have an accident in their knickers or in their pants. You would again have gloves on while you do this, and you fold it and you also pop this into the bag, okay? And all of this goes outside into the household waste bin outside the house, because I'm sure you can appreciate you don't want this in your house. It's going to start to smell pretty quickly, okay? With infection control, especially now, there's no harm in wiping surfaces down. You never know what could be lurking, even if it doesn't look dirty.